When I saw what was happening, I said to myself, this is my time for a getaway. As hard as things were in Kewanee, no memory is harder for me to relive than when I learned the news that we were going to go to Kewanee. Here I was, dreaming of my scholarship to Drake University. And my mother was finally persuaded by my father. I hadn't been paying much attention to all this. I was in my own dream world. I came home from school. It was a Friday afternoon, and when my mother was between maids, as we called them in those days, not housekeepers. They weren't housekeepers, they were maids. It annoys me to this day when you have a cleaning lady to call her a housekeeper. A housekeeper is like Mrs. Danvers with the keys. Anyway, I scrubbed the floor for my mother every Friday afternoon, and of course laid the newspaper down. I was on my hands and knees doing the floor, and my mother came to me and she said, we have to move to Kewanee. And I told Daddy, I couldn't go without Rosie. I don't think I spoke, but tears began to flow into the bucket. And I saw them splash into the water. I couldn't even look at my mother. I was so crestfallen. But of course I went. I did what the family had planned for me, because that's what nice girls did. That's what good girls did. And I know my mother needed me. I knew she would find it very difficult alone. Without my father in the picture, with him keeping his job. So I knew it was necessary. But now I thought, now is the time for me. I'm not going to discuss it with anyone. I applied to Northwestern University because they already had my transcripts. I had applied before I won the scholarship. And it was the best known school of speech. And I just went ahead and did it. Didn't tell anybody. I got back an acceptance. They said I would not be eligible for a scholarship. It was too late. But they were sure, with what my transcript was, that I would earn a scholarship by the second quarter. Well, the colossal tuition for the first quarter was $90. And I thought, well, I just have to find a way to earn $90. When I asked for a salary in the store, $15 was the going rate for a clerk. My mother said, what do you need money for? We give you everything you need. I didn't press the point. Good girls didn't. But one afternoon, I accompanied my mother to Chicago for a buying trip. And we happened into a wholesaler, 318 West Adams building. His name was Archie Zamet. And my mother picked out a few dresses. And as we were chatting with Archie, he said to me, Sprout, what are you doing next week? I said, what, why? He says, it's market week. I need a junior model. He had a model who wore size 12. But the junior clothes were just coming in big. And they had half sizes, 7, 9, 11. And he judged by my figure. He said, you could be my junior model for market week. I said, Mother, may I? And she said, well, where would you stay? And Aunt Tilly's was chosen for me to board me for the week. Well, of course, it was okay with Tilly. And I had my first job that paid. Well, I wouldn't say first job. I was a waitress once in the London Guarantee Building on Wacker Drive. It was the hardest thing I ever did in my life, on flagstone stone floors. The colossal salary of $9 a week, because we had to depend on tips. And I had to be there from 9 in the morning till 9 at night. I got breaks in between, but that's how you could work a waitress in those days, without unions. But I stuck it out for the summer because I wanted to earn money for clothes. Well, that was when I was a junior. So I announced to my parents that I'm going to go to college. Where will you live? Well, we had a cousin, Mary, who had her own apartment. She was not married. And my father said, well, we'll talk to Mary. Maybe you can live with Mary. Mary said it would be okay. So I took my little suitcase for registration day at Northwestern, September 1942. And as I was standing before the registrar, filling out my program, he said, Miss Yastro, where's your housing certificate? I said, what? He said, your housing certificate. Where are you going to stay? I said, I'm going to stay with my cousin Mary. Oh, we don't permit freshman girls to live off campus. All freshman girls have to live in Willard Hall. I thought, oh my goodness, that's more money. But I said, well, okay, thinking I'll make it work. Well, Willard Hall is filled. I must have looked as if I were going to cry, but it frightened him. And he said, why don't you wait over there against the wall and I'll have the Dean of Women come to talk to you. I thought, I cannot go back to Kewanee with my little suitcase. I just can't do that. She came and I could just see her face, a very wasp-looking, dignified woman, graying blonde hair in a bun, a beige suit with a laid-back white collar. And she said, Miss Yastro, I'm sorry, but we have 26 girls on the waiting list. And then she thought for a minute and she said, but if you want to take a chance, I have a friend who has a garage apartment that she rents to graduate students, and since they're not here yet, you can stay there for a couple or 3 nights, and we may have some dropouts. And I thought, well, I can't say no. It sounds like a real long shot, but I'll take it. And I lay on the cot in this hot little garage apartment under the sun. And on the second day, I get a call from the dean's office. She wants to see you. But, oh, well, this is the kiss-off. Now she's going to tell me there's no spaces. So I went to the office, quaking, and she said, Miss Yastro, we have a room for you. I said, 26 girls dropped out? She said some would drop out because boyfriend problems, they didn't get in the right sorority, you know. But I couldn't envision 26. She said, no, she said, but we have a Jewish girl now without a roommate because she couldn't come because of the embargo. She comes from Argentina. And we don't allow a Christian girl to live with a Jewish girl. So they had to go right down the list to find the first Jewish girl on the waiting list, which was me. Because of their bigotry, I got a room and was enrolled at Northwestern. You see, in those days, we never thought of making waves. We never objected to the anti-Semitism. We were afraid. We just accepted it.